Morning, this is Kamera. We're on day number 99, 2 Samuel chapter 16 through 18. Okay, we know that David is on the run from his son Absalom, who has taken over the kingdom of Israel. David, during his journey of escape, he runs into certain people. One of the first people he runs into is Ziba. Ziba is the servant of Mephibosheth. That's his name. That was Jonathan's son, King David's grandson. King Saul's grandson. And so David asked, well, where's Mephibosheth? And so Ziba's like, Mephibosheth said he's going to stay back. Now he's going to reclaim his grandfather Saul's kingdom. Really? Okay. So Ziba, what is with Ziba? He has like a couple of donkeys loaded down with bread and wine, and I forgot what else he had with that, but he did greet them with something to help them on their journey. And so, Mephibosheth, right? The one who David actually sought and welcomed to his table. Yeah, Saul's grandson. And so, as they're continuing their journey, Shimei, a cousin or relative of Saul, starts to throw insults at David, stones at David, dust at David, calling David a murderer. You stole the kingdom from Saul. Perception, right? Perception. Everybody know that God gave that kingdom to David. Perception. He says that David is the one who killed off Saul's family. So David was nowhere near there. Perception, right? So he's throwing these insults and these rocks and everything at David, calling him a murderer, and he's getting just what he deserved. And so Abishai gets upset and like, just let me go kill this man. Let me just cut his head off. David's like, no, if God allowed him to send insults to me, then so be it. So be it. Kind of like sticks and stones may break my bones, or he has no power over me. You know how you feel that it's said that if you allow a person to hurt your feelings or what have you, they have a lot of power over you. David clearly overcame all of that and said, well, if it's the Lord's will that he does this, leave him alone. He's doing it. Talk about knowing who you are and not letting the insults get to you because you know who you are. Isn't that something? God allowed him to do that. Yeah, I want to be like David when I grow up, right? Okay, so as we continue, back at Jerusalem, guess who goes there? Who arrives? Absalom and his entourage. Actually, the full army of Israel. Ahithophel is there. Yeah, they set up camp in Jerusalem. And so Hushai, who is David's friend, who David sent back, greets Absalom. Long live the king. Absalom's like, wait, is this how a friend of David's supposed to act? Hushai is like, well, my loyalty is to whoever God placed in and see, whoever God blesses to be king. And he was convinced. Yeah. Absalom was convinced. This dude. Anyway, so Absalom looks over at Ahithophel and sees counsel. He's like, okay, so what should I do next? Ahithophel says, sleep with David's concubines and do it in the open so that all of Israel will see. That way, they see that you totally dishonor your father. And guess what Absalom does? He sleeps with David's concubines. They set up a tent, and everybody knows what's going on up in there. Yes, he has sex with David's concubines. And so, fast forward, Absalom seeks Ahithophel for other advice, and Ahithophel actually gives this advice where he says, how about I send out 10,000 men after David, and we, while they're tired and haggard and hungry, and, we run them down, and I kill David and bring the people back to serve you. And so Absalom and the elders of Israel felt like that was a pretty good plan. But then Absalom calls Hushai and asks him, what do you think? And so Hushai says, well, you know what? Don't forget your dad's no lightweight. Your dad is a mighty warrior. You send those men there. You got to understand, David is no fool. David's probably hiding in some pits or some caves, waiting on you guys to attack. As soon as your men come out, David's going to attack him. And next thing you know, that's going to bring fear all through the mightiest man. So maybe, let's try this. We'll send, you call all the men all throughout Israel to come to battle. And you, Absalom, you lead the battle. And then we go ahead and we slaughter him and his men. So get this. Absalom liked Hushai's plan better. So Hushai leaves there. He runs and send a signal of warning to Abiathar and Zadok. Zadok reaches that other guy. I think it's Jonathan. I forgot the other guy's name. They run and they go and try to get to David and warn them that they need to continue their journey and they need to move quickly across the Jordan River tonight. And so during their journey, the messenger's journey, this boy sees them. Yeah, this boy sees him and then he reports back to Absalom. And this is the thing, though. There were people, loyal people to David, who helped those messengers to escape. I mean, there's one couple, they placed those messengers into a well and covered it up like it was like old leaves that landed there. Men came there and looked around. They did not see the messengers. And so once the coast was clear, they continued their journey, and the messengers reached David, and David did what he was instructed to do. Back at camp, back at Jerusalem, Ahithophel learns that Absalom did not go with his plan. Guess what he does when he finds that Absalom did not go with his plan? This boy goes home, set his house in order, and hangs himself. He kills himself because his plans were not taken or received. And this is the thing. The Word of God says that Ahithophel had the better plan, but God wanted Absalom to go with the lesser plan, lesser great plan, lesser bad plan. How does it? The plan that was not as good as Ahithophel's. But Ahithophel's was better. It did make sense to me when I read it. Why they're tired, you're running out. But that's not how God wanted it to play out. So, yeah, he did not like that. And he killed himself. So, how about this? As David's on his journey of escape, he receives all type of kindness. Even one of the sons of Nahash. Remember Nahash, who had died? King Nahash had died, and he had wanted to send sympathy to his son. So his son got this crazy idea that David was really trying to spy on him. It looks like Nahash had another son, Shabi, or he and about two other different groups of people, leaders of two different leaders of two different areas. They give David so much. They showed him so much love and kindness. Gave him sleeping bags or sleeping mats. They gave him cooking pots. They gave him serving bowls. They gave him beans, lentil. They gave him honey, butter. They gave him sheep and goats. Showed David some love while he was on his escape, going through his troubles, going through the worst thing that one of the worst things he ever could have imagined to go through. And so it's like it's worse than what Saul went through because this is his son. And so, so I look at that thing and I'm like, these are supposed to be enemies of Israel, but clearly David, along his journey while running from Saul, he created some friends. And they were not all children of Israel who these friends were. These were enemy territory. Remember where he stayed for almost 2 years in Philistines, and there was someone there, and now you have the king of Ammonites and all these different places that are not even the children of Israel, showing David some love. Something to think about. Anyway, back at the home front, Absalom is setting up camp and getting ready to fight the just like, I mean, it's just children of Israel, the army of Israel ready to fight David. David is not just sitting there. David is setting up his camp too. So he creates 3 groups of troops, and the leaders of each one of them: Joab, his brother Abishai, I think, and then I think the other one was Ittai. And he tells his commanders of each one of those troops, deal gently with Absalom. See, David was so convinced that they were going to win this battle that they would actually catch Absalom. Isn't that something? I love that man's faith. I love his faith in God, how God is in control of his entire life, even while he's on the run. So now he's forced to fight, right? And so during battle, they said about 20,000 people died, and looked like more died from the wilderness than the actual battle. How about this? Absalom, he notices some of David's men during battle, and he tries to escape. Remember, Absalom's hair was so long. He allowed his hair to grow so long. It says that his hair actually weighed 5 pounds. He would cut it only once a year, but he had very long hair. Well, that hair did not serve him well this time. It said, the Bible says that while he was trying to run from David's men, his hair gets caught by the tree limb. And his donkey leaves him, so he's dangling from this limb from his head, right? And so one of the men who was on Joab's troop reports to Joab, we saw Absalom hanging from a tree. So he turns to this guy and say, and why didn't you kill him? I would have given you a king's reward. This man's like, yeah, right. We all heard what David said. David said, deal with Absalom gently. And if David would have found that I had killed his son, you'd have been the first man to kill me. You'd have turned on me so fast. Really? First one who would have abandoned me and killed me at the same time. Yeah. So yeah, Joab goes to Absalom. Guess what this guy does? Remember, David said, though him and his brothers are out of control and God is going to deal with them. But guess what he does to Absalom? Joab, David's commander, stabs Absalom 3 times in the heart, and allows his men, his armor bearers, to kill Absalom. Yep, kills Absalom. And so word gets back that Absalom, that first of all, back to David, that the war's over, the battle's over, and we had success. Well, actually, the first person who runs there says, I'm not certain what happened. There was just a lot of commotion. Because he wouldn't know what happened to Absalom. I don't know. There's a lot of commotion. He probably knew, but he didn't want to be the deliverer of that news. Yeah, I think he did know. The first messenger did know. Now, he was supposed to have been the second messenger, but he outran the Ethiopian first messenger. And he delivered the news that the battle was over and they defeated. And David wanted to know what happened to Absalom. And I think it was the son of Zadok, one of the priest's sons. He was like, I don't know. I don't know. There was a lot of commotion. Second guy comes, the Ethiopian guy, messenger comes, tells David, yeah, it was a successful battle. What about Absalom? What about my son Absalom? Well, you know what? No one wants to be in Absalom's shoes at this moment. Yeah, tells him that Absalom is dead. And so David grieves his son. He still loved his son, guys. He really did. Even though his son was off the chain. Totally wanted to kill him. There was no stopping Absalom. Anyway, that's where we are. And yeah, David grieves. That's basically where we are. And yeah, guys, lot of drama in this book. A lot of drama. And David, he did what he had to do. And yeah, he's not weak because he still loved his son. He's not weak. Joab definitely out of control. David received a lot of threats. He was insults. For what? He didn't do anything wrong. And yeah, he went through a battle. He went through a battle, you know. So yeah, that's what we are. But he knew God was in that entire thing. He knew. He knew. So to go through a struggle as David did, a battle as David did, to accept insults but not ingest them, to the abuse, the torture. I mean, I don't deserve this type of thing, but you know that everything's in God's hands, but you just go through. David took it like a champ, a true warrior at heart. And so, yeah, guys, that was day number 99. 2 Samuel. Yes, that's it, 2 Kings. 2 Samuel, chapters 16 through 18. You guys have a God-filled, blessed day.